Hi, I'm Danielle, the domestic scientist, and today's video is going to be another cooking experiment. Now, the fall season is coming upon us, and one of the things I enjoy most about the fall is having a great Starbucks latte, especially the one with all those warm spices. Now, one of my favorite Starbucks lattes is the Chai Latte. So today I'm going to try to make a chai infused French toast, and then I'm going to pair it with a homemade butter chai syrup. So stay tuned. So the first thing I'm going to do for my French toast is start on my custard. Now, custard is basically an egg and milk mixture, and it is the foundation of your French toast. Now, I want to have a good amount of volume, so I'm going to start off with about 6 eggs, and then I'm going to worry about getting the flavor infused. So I have a chai latte that I purchased from the local Starbucks, and I'm going to add this into my egg. So when I'm making my custards, I like to leave my eggs intact, and then I pour my milk or cream all around, and once it travels around each of the yolks, that's when I'm done pouring. Now to this mixture, I'm going to add in some cardamom because it's one of my favorite spices and it is very prominent in a chai latte. Next, I'm going to add a little cinnamon toast crunch coffee creamer because I want the smoothness and the richness of coffee cream. Now, I will say that the latte that I purchased from Starbucks was a little bit strong, and I was worried about a little bitterness coming from the black tea. So I will mix just a little bit of coffee creamer to lighten it, to sweeten it, and to make it just a little bit more rich. Now, because this is a kitchen experiment, I've not seen a recipe like this anywhere online, and I'm not quite sure how the latte is going to do in the custard, nor am I sure what type of consistency I'm going to get. So I'm just going to work at it as I go along and make necessary adjustments based on my general observations. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a good whisk, and as I'm whisking it, I'm realizing that my custard's a little bit thinner than I would like it to be. So I'm going to go in and just add another egg to this mixture and give it another good whisk, and then I will just kind of check the consistency. And when I find that my custard is thick enough and I can see a little bit of the stringiness from the eggs, then I know I'm done. So how I check the consistency of my custard is that I just lift my fork or whisk periodically as I'm whisking my eggs. And if I can see that stringy egg texture and it's kind of viscous and difficult to drain from the whisk or the fork, then I know that I have a good amount of egg to milk ratio. But if the liquid or custard runs through the fork just like water, then I know I have put too much cream. And then I will just go in and add 1 or 2 more eggs until I get the consistency that I want. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to start working on my bread. First, I have out my shallow casserole pan, and this is where I'm going to soak my French toast. And for the bread, I'm using this Pepperidge Farm breakfast bread. This is a cinnamon swirl bread with a French toast flavor. Now, if you're not familiar with Pepperidge Farm breakfast breads, they are absolutely amazing. They have lots of flavor, and they are a wonderful foundation for a French toast recipe and for a lot of other recipes to be in fact. And they have a number of varieties. Today, I'm going with French toast on French toast, but they have a lemon poppy seed that I also made a French toast out of, and it was amazing. I'll put a link to that video in the description as well. And they recently released a berry flavored bread, and I'm going to do another French toast to come out very soon. So this is what the French toast bread looks like. You can see there is a cinnamon swirl in there, and it's got little flavor pockets. The better your bread is, the better your French toast is going to be. Now, you can always do a recipe like this with a Texas toast or a very simple toast, but if you have a flavored bread, it's just going to elevate it to another level. Now, the other thing that I like about this French toast is it has a pretty good thickness, so I know it's going to take up the custard very well. I'm going to start by pouring in about half of my custard at the bottom, just so that it gets spread through the container, and I know there aren't going to be any dry spots at the bottom. And then I'm going to start placing in my French toast. And this pan will comfortably fit all 6 pieces of French toast in here. And so that's another reason why I always reach for a shallow pan. And now that I have my first layer of French toast down and it's sitting in the custard, I'm just going to take the rest of the custard and pour it generously on top. Now the goal here is to really have a good pocket of custard setting on top of the bread so that the bread is soaking up custard from the top and from the bottom. You want really great coverage here, and the weight of all of that custard sitting on top will really help to press it into the bread. So now I'm just going to let this sit for about 15 minutes, and I'm going to turn it periodically just to make sure that the bread really takes up all this great custard. And I'll be right back. So once my bread has soaked in the custard for about 10 to 15 minutes, then I'm going to go ahead and start frying it on my stove. Now I'm using a ceramic skillet here, and then I'm just melting down a little sweet cream salted butter. I like to make sure that the butter is boiling a little bit and has a nice good bubbly texture going, but that it's not smoking or browning, and so that's how I know that my pan is at a really good temperature. Then I'm going to go ahead and brown the French toast for a few minutes on each side. So while I am frying the French toast, I did also make a butter chai syrup. And I made this syrup by melting down a little bit of butter, adding some sugar, and then some of my chai latte. After I let that set on the stove for a little bit and it reduced, then I went ahead and added some baking soda to it. It did bubble a little bit and then it settled down. Now I actually lost the footage of my making the homemade syrup, so I'm just kind of talking you through how I made it. Now this recipe for the butter syrup was an adaptation of a recipe that I saw from another YouTuber called Stovetop Kisses, where she made a butter syrup as well, and I think she did that one with butter and pecans. So my chai latte adaptation did turn out well. So it looks like my French toast is almost done, so I'm going to go ahead and get plated. So I'm going to go ahead and start plating up my French toast. I have 3 very well cooked pieces of French toast, and I'm going to go ahead and top them with a very generous serving of whipped cream. I've already added my homemade butter chai latte syrup. Then once I have my whipped cream down, I'm going to go ahead and dust it with some cinnamon and nutmeg, and then off to the side I'm going to add these white chocolate peppermint straws from Pepperidge Farm. Now I have to say this kitchen experiment was a smashing success. The French toast came out just beautifully, as well as the syrup. So I would say that if you love the flavor of a chai latte, then this French toast is most definitely for you, because the flavor is very true to the original latte. So adding the egg and the custard and infusing it into the bread really didn't change it, not one bit. It really tastes like a chai latte within a French toast. So it was absolutely an amazing recipe. I enjoyed it, and my husband did as well. So now I'd like to hear from you. Leave a comment in the box below and let me know what you think of my chai latte infused French toast featuring Pepperidge Farm French toast bread and chocolate straws. This is Danielle, the domestic scientist. I am glad that you joined me for another kitchen experiment. If you liked today's video, please give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. I'll see you next time.